Hey y'all, long time no see. And that's a little inside joke if you were just on my BB Can 11 recap. The way that my life is set up, I used to have a lot of time and space when I was off my job to be able to do these like whenever. But now that we've added my job back into the equation, it's like I get it where I can get it, where I can fit it. So, on the job note, I start my new job on the 27th. So this week will be my last week at my current position. And then I'm moving on to hopefully bigger and better things. So I informed everyone this week that next week will be my last week. And that's going to go how that's going to go. It's going to be how it's going to be. So the challenge recap for episode 3, I'm not really going to spend a ton of time on this. It's mainly just my reaction to it. I didn't really like the episode. It wasn't really that interesting of an episode. It wasn't very action packed. It didn't have enough of all the major players that we like seeing. It didn't show enough. And it was just mainly centered around this relationship between Jonna and Kellyanne. So let me just talk about that because that's the main thing that happened. The thing about the challenge, and I think the world championship people alluded to this and they've started to notice this. The ones that came from either international seasons or the ones that came from the Challenge USA, like Danny Sarah, they noticed that the present day challenge is based on years and relationships. It's not like a survivor where it's like everybody comes on the show, they're all new, and they're all just meeting each other for the first time and they make all their alliances that year on the spot and figure out how they're going to keep maneuvering their game from that. It's like these people on the challenge go on the show back to back to back to back to back to back. They know each other for years. And then it's like a decision that they make in this game that they're in this year could be based on a favor that somebody did for them years back, or they could just be friends outside of the game, like a Fessy and Casey and Josh situation where they're all like best friends outside the game. So you know they're always going to be playing for each other, or it could be like a Wes and Nehemiah when they were on the same season together. This challenge is mostly based on relationships, and the ones that are new, they usually get picked off unless they join like an alliance of a group that has already been together. It's never like a thing where we get to a final that has 4 teams and all 4 teams are like newer cast. You might get one. You might get one pair or you might get one person who makes it in because they win enough of limbs and they make enough relationships with the vets to be able to get there. But anyways, all of that was kind of veering off a little bit, but I had a point to even bringing that up. Should friendship supersede the game? Because we just had this same thing happen in the last season, Ride or Dies, where where Tori was like, your decision of who you throw in is going to impact our relationship outside of the game. And Kellyanne is pretty much saying this to John A. We are real life friends. We're real life besties. So, like, if you decide to throw me and Tristan in, she didn't necessarily directly flat out say it. We won't be friends. But that was when it was said to Jordan, he said the whole "I do not negotiate with terrorists" thing, which is classic. This was a little bit less like that, but it had the same feel. My opinion is, and obviously it's an outside opinion, I've never been on one of these shows, but if I was to go on the show with my best friend, I would have a clear understanding or even a conversation with them. Like, if we are ever on this show together, I want to work with you if I can, but I'm always going to do what is in the best interest of me winning the game. And I hope they would understand that. That goes for if it was like a relationship season where you're with your partner, or if it was like a best friend ride or die season, or even if it wasn't the season theme, if I just went on the show with somebody that I'm close to, I will work with you as much as I can, but I'm always going to do what's in the best interest of me winning. So here's the thing with John A. I'm not mad that John A ended up picking Tristan and Kellyanne to go in. Kellyanne is at the bottom of the totem pole, like especially in these later seasons. She doesn't seem to be really popular, or the alliances seem to freeze her out or ice her out. And I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know if she's not in as much touch with the other cast members, or maybe they're fearful of her because she's a strong competitor. Maybe she puts her foot in her mouth. Maybe a combination of all of those things. But the vets kind of have her towards the bottom of the vets. That's just a fact, right? So I think Johnny's issue is that Johnny is so nice, and I know you guys are gonna be thinking like, why are you saying that? You don't really know John A. And I don't really know John A, but I did meet John A. And I know it's not the same thing as like knowing somebody and spending a lot of time having phone conversations with them and whatever. But just the combination of what I've seen in her real world seasons and in her challenge seasons, and the person that I saw face to face when I met her at Challenge Mania, she's so nice to a fault. Like being nice is great in life. So when I say to a fault, Johnny has won 2 All-Star seasons and came in first for the girls in the first one. So, I mean, even being nice, she won. She won 2 seasons. But what I mean when I say she's too nice is that she can make the right moves, but she feels bad about making the moves. So, based on the edit and what they're showing us, it seems like picking Kellyanne and Tristan was not because she wanted to throw them in, but her partner Grant wanted to put them in. And also, Kellyanne messed up and made that mistake by saying she wants somebody from Team USA to go down. So, it's like, do I piss off Kellyanne as my friend, or do I piss off like Tori and all these other girls that were mad about that statement? So it's a numbers game. So I feel like if my guy Wes was in that same type of situation, even though she would still be mad, I feel like he would do a better job at being like, this is what I have to do, and this is why I have to do it. Although Wes did throw himself on the sword for Brad in All Stars 3. But I'm just saying, I feel like somebody else in that position might be better at explaining and just tell Kellyanne, like, hey, I love you outside of this house always, but I'm not able to work with you in the game for this reason. So, where John A seems to have messed up is the fact that she promised her, like, hey, I went to sleep. They showed that conversation. I slept on it and I thought about it. And I decided, you're my person. I trust you the most in this house in real life, and I'm not going to throw you in. Once he did that, I couldn't defend you anymore. You messed up. I still love John A. John A is the nicest person ever, but in the game, having that particular dialogue and saying that to her and going back on that was not a good look. I do think that John A has enough clout and friends in the game that it's not really going to strongly impact her in the game numbers wise. Obviously, Kellyanne is going to be mad at her, and that's going to make her uncomfortable in the house. But all in all, I think that unless Kellyanne starts to win some dailies, I think she's going to be on the chopping block again and again until she's out. So I don't think in that sense it's going to impact her. But having a friend that's in there that's mad at you personally, or having like a relationship where you're fighting like Tori and Jordan were on Ride or Dies, yeah, I know that's gonna emotionally impact you because it's not, you're trapped in this house, like you can't get away from them. And tension, there's gonna be some tension for her. But I think she made the right move for the game. I just think she messed up with what she said to her and going back on what she said. So anyways, Kellyanne and Tristan end up going against Nelson and his partner, Hui, I believe is her name. I think that's her name. I'm not trying to butcher it. I just have a hard time saying the name. And first of all, sending a prayer for Nelson, because I don't know if all of you know this, but Nelson was in a horrific car accident, and I saw the video footage of the car on fire, and him being pulled out of the car, and he's doing his rehab now. Sorry about that background noise, y'all. Him being pulled out of the car, and now he has to do a significant amount of rehab. I think he probably had multiple surgeries, and he put up a GoFundMe page. So if you want to support Nelson's recovery, please go to his GoFundMe, contribute to his GoFundMe. I had to say all of that before I commented on the elimination. Wow, that was one of the worst elimination performances I've seen of all time. I love Nelson. He makes me laugh. He's hilarious. He's athletic in sports. Like I'm sure that he was like a football star, track star, basketball player, all that stuff. I think even in his first season, they were showing something like that. He was always an athlete. Ooh, this performance was bad. So Kellyanne and Tristan win very easily. Very easily. There was a couple other things I took notes on. Kaz and Theo. It's interesting to see, they haven't spoken in a few years, and now they're kind of back in good graces, and who knows what's gonna happen. Is it gonna develop more, or are they gonna stay friends? Is there gonna be a point in time where they're separated in the game, or they have to make a decision that impacts the other one in the game? There was Benha talking to Bananas and saying that he's somebody that he looks up to in the game because he's won so many times. He's a vet, all that. Wes was having a conversation with Jonna at the beginning regarding Kellyanne, and he was kind of defending Kellyanne and saying that she's a good person, a loyal person. But yeah, Tristan and Kellyanne smoked Nelson and Huhui in the elimination. And Kellyanne came back in the house hot as expected. And she came and spoke to Jonna. Jonna was trying her best to like smooth things over. Didn't seem like it was going too well. Kellyanne is a person that will raise hell. The cool thing about these people that left for a while and came back is that even though they're older, some of them are married, children, you still see their essence. Kellyanne can be a firecracker. So just like Jonna said, the one thing that you don't want to happen is to see somebody that you threw into the elimination come back. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm ready for next week. I hope next week is a little bit of a better episode, more things happening with more different people. Of course, there's still going to be this Kellyanne and Jonna storyline, but I hope we see more from like Wes, Bananas, Jordan, even the Challenge USA people, a little more of Danny, Sarah, um the other countries. Like I feel like the first two episodes were better and like more well-rounded than that, but we'll see. So this is my recap of episode 3 of the Challenge World Championships, and I'm off. Talk to y'all soon.